We've been taught to see forgiveness as a strength. But what if this strength is actually our most vulnerable spot? What if, by forgiving, we don't heal, but instead hand another person the weapon to hurt us again and again? In this video, we will risk challenging this conventional wisdom. With the help of an ancient parable, we will discover who should never be forgiven under any circumstances, and why sometimes the most rational thing to do is not to offer a helping hand, but to turn around and walk away. Picture this: silence at dusk, mountains breathing beneath a fading sky, and one man walking the narrow path between wisdom and mercy. His name was Arian, a sage whose home was stillness, whose teacher was the wind. People traveled from far villages to hear his words because every sentence he spoke could either heal or destroy. Yet even the wisest hearts can bleed for the wrong reasons. One day, as Arian wandered through the valley, he heard a faint cry, sharp, trembling. Desperate, beneath a fallen branch lay a creature twisted in pain, a mountain cobra, caught in a rusted trap. The villagers had spoken of her with fear, a whisper of death, a symbol of deceit. Arian knew her kind. Snakes bite not from hatred, but from nature. Still, something in him refused to walk away. He knelt down. The trap's teeth glimmered like a cruel smile, and the cobra hissed weakly, half alive, half furious. Compassion pressed against caution inside his chest. With slow hands, he took a stick and pried open the steel jaws. "Go," he whispered. "You're free." But instead of slithering away, the cobra coiled around his wrist, not to strike, but to hold. Her scales were cold as stone. Arian carried her home, cleaned her wounds, fed her, spoke to her as if she could understand. When people asked why, he answered softly, "Not every venom kills. Some poisons are only tests of the heart." The villagers shook their heads. They thought his mercy would destroy him. In a way, they were right. Weeks passed. The cobra healed. She lay in the sunlight near Arian's doorway, her eyes half closed, as if at peace. But the wild never forgets what it is. One morning, as Arian sat by the stream, the same creature he had saved slid silently behind him and sank her fangs into his neck. The venom spread quickly, burning like fire beneath his skin. He did not scream. He simply turned, meeting the creature's gaze. "I gave you a choice," he whispered. "You bit me because you are a snake, and I saved you because I am human." Those were his last words. He closed his eyes, not in anger, but in clarity. Forgiveness, he realized too late, can also be a form of self-betrayal. When the villagers found his body, grief turned to fury. They hunted the cobra, trapped her again, and gathered with stones in hand. But the village elder raised his voice. "Stop." His eyes carried the weight of understanding. The wise man's death was not punishment. It was a lesson. Silence fell heavy among them. They released the snake, and from that day forward, they repeated a saying that still survives in whispers. Sometimes the serpent is not a symbol, it's a warning. Forgiveness without discernment isn't a virtue. It's an invitation to be hurt again. The story of Arian is not ancient dust. It's the mirror we face every time we forgive the wrong person. We meet snakes in modern skins, people who change their masks but never their nature. They whisper, "I'm sorry," not to heal, but to return. They call it regret, but it's strategy. Their apology is a key, not to reconciliation, but to your next wound. And every time you open the door, they smile, because you've just given them permission to strike again. So who should never be forgiven? The first kind, those who repeat cruelty and call it a mistake. Their sorry is performance art, rehearsed, polished, convincing. They hurt you intentionally and hide behind words. Each apology becomes another knife, wrapped in velvet. They don't want peace. They want access. Every time you forgive them, you're not freeing yourself. You're reloading their weapon. Mercy without boundaries becomes an accomplice to harm. The second kind, those who regret only being caught. Their remorse is not born from conscience, but from exposure. They cry not because they hurt you, but because their mask slipped. Their shame isn't moral, it's social. They're sorry not for the wound, only for the witness. And when you forgive such people, you're not healing. You're helping them reset the stage for the next act of deception. Forgiveness here isn't noble. It's naive. And then there's the third kind, the most dangerous of all. Those who weaponize your vulnerability. They study your empathy like a map, learn your soft spots, and strike exactly where they know you'll forgive them. They play the long game, disappearing just long enough for you to miss them, returning just soon enough for you to hope again. These are not people seeking redemption. They are predators in disguise, feeding on your kindness until you forget it's supposed to protect you. You might ask, does this mean we should never forgive? No. Forgiveness remains sacred, but only when it heals you, not when it reloads their venom. Arian's tragedy was not that he was kind. It was that he confused compassion with blindness. He thought saving the snake meant saving his soul. But true wisdom knows mercy is medicine when given to the repentant, and poison when offered to the unchanging. Think about it. How many times have you forgiven someone only to watch them wound you in the same place? You told yourself they've changed. But change without remorse is just strategy. The cycle continues because you keep believing your forgiveness can reform what pain has already defined. But sometimes, the greatest act of love is distance. Sometimes the purest compassion is silence. And sometimes, walking away is not cruelty. It's clarity. Forgiveness, when misunderstood, becomes a form of self-sabotage. It drains your energy, dulls your instincts, and convinces you that endurance equals virtue. But there is no virtue in letting someone cut you twice with the same blade. True peace isn't about pretending evil doesn't exist. It's about refusing to host it. Arian's story reminds us, not every soul seeks redemption. Some only seek permission. There's a moment in life when you stop asking, why did they hurt me? And start asking, why did I keep letting them? That moment, that shift, is where healing begins. It's not bitterness, it's awakening. It's when your compassion becomes wise instead of blind. Forgiveness, in its truest form, doesn't excuse the act. It releases the weight. It says, I will no longer bleed for what refuses to change. So remember this. Forgive when forgiveness brings freedom. But when it only brings another wound, let go. When your heart whispers that someone's apology is just another trap, listen. Don't turn your empathy into a weapon against yourself. Some people were never meant to stay. Their presence was a lesson, not a loss. Even Arian, in his dying breath, understood. Kindness without discernment isn't goodness, it's surrender. And now, the truth returns to you. If these words echo somewhere deep inside your chest, it means you've met your own Cobra once. Maybe more than once. You've known the sting of misplaced mercy. You've tried to heal someone who only came to bite. But from this day forward, Carry this lesson quietly. Forgive to free yourself, not to free the snake. If this truth speaks to you, share it. Let it reach another heart before it breaks. And don't forget to subscribe to Activate Simplicity, where we explore life's quietest truths, one story, one awakening at a time.